Hello, everybody. From San Diego this time. We appreciate you supporting indie agency news. Before we get started, let's take a look at this.
A delicious cereal that's actually really good for you? That seems impossible. But then you met your new neighbor. Yep, the world is full of surprises. Like getting Cinnamon Toast Cereal
Hi.
without all the bad stuff. Zero sugar, packed with protein and fiber, and undeniably...
Yeah, nice.
It's yum-believable. Catalina Crunch.
That is sometimes how I feel in the morning. You probably feel that way in the morning too. That is from our friends at SuperHeroes. Let's meet them right now. Let's bring them all on in. That was a fun little piece of work, everybody. That was good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Who gets the blame for that one? For that copy?
That was a
Elliot.
joined up.
Was that my voice at the end? I think it was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun, and that's a
Yeah.
tough category. That is a tough category. So excellent, fun work. As I mentioned, we're talking to SuperHeroes, the gang here. We got some in Brooklyn. We've got some in Minneapolis, if I recall. Is that
That's right.
Is that what I heard? Okay, we'll talk about my native Minnesota roots a little bit later. But tell me, when was the agency founded?
Yeah, so SuperHeroes was founded in 2009 by myself and my business partner, Django. And already a really long time ago. Crazy how fast time goes. And about 4 or 5 years ago, we opened up shop in New York as well. And we also have an office in Singapore, by the way.
Okay. All right. That's smart to get an office over there. I hear Singapore is lovely, not just this time of year, but every time of year. Let's be honest. Now every agency has their thing that they're best known for. What is the one thing that you believe SuperHeroes is best known for?
Yeah, so SuperHeroes is really on a big mission. So our mission is to save the world from boring advertising. That's a big one, of course. So what we do is we create ads for digital natives, Gen Zs, young millennials. We really try to create campaigns that people talk and write about. And what often happens is that our ideas also turn into pop culture. And definitely our work shouldn't go by unnoticed. So hence maybe also the crazy seagull ad, but it should really stand out, the work that we make, and definitely not be boring.
Right. No, I thank you for that. Going a little bit deeper, a lot of agencies, and everybody understands this. There are a lot of capabilities that an agency has. What would you say are your top 3 core strengths? If you had to look at 3, what would you say?
Yeah. I think, saving the world from boring advertising, we don't just do it because it's more fun for us and more fun for our clients, and ultimately, of course, more fun for the people that are going to be watching it, but it's also more effective. And we've found that time and time again. So the work that we make really stands out, delivers better business results. So what we really believe is that's what not boring advertising does. Then secondly, what we always do is we really work audience first. So we really look at what's happening in popular culture. We're really onto what's happening in social. We really try to translate a brand's mission into human terms and really see where we can align that, culture and brand. So that's also something that I think we're really good at. And then thirdly, what we are also very much about is this entrepreneurship, innovation, experimentation. We don't wait for briefs to come in. We're constantly doing our own side projects. We're making sure that our SuperHeroes are doing their own projects as well. So that's really an important part of our culture, and that really also goes back into the work again as well.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned something. You mentioned culture a couple of times, and I'll ask you all about why it's important to be independent. But Dutch culture and your heritage and your background, how does that play a role into how you maybe observe the world? Because when I look at somebody like a Bert Hagendorn with Dutch digital design in Amsterdam, it's obviously a lot of brilliant stuff, but the worldview is a little bit different. You see what Wesley Tenhar has done with Media Monks, and so there's definitely a different spin on it. So I'm curious how Dutch, your Dutch heritage and culture impacts the thinking.
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think being Dutch, like we've always been known for our liberal worldview. And I think like being a small country, like most of us, we speak multiple languages, we travel a lot. So what we are really able is to kind of like rise a little bit above nationalities and different cultures and see, like really look at like what is uniting us. So I think that is one common thread. The other common thread is also that we are maybe always a little disruptive, like finding our own way. Back in Amsterdam, what we always used to say is like we ask for forgiveness, not for permission. Being in the US now, it's a little different. So we need to also comply a little bit with what's happening here in that sense as well. But yeah, I think by nature we're a little bit more edgy, stubborn. I don't know, like where it is, like somewhere in the spectrum.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Susan, you want to jump in on this one? I can tell. Jump in.
Now I was just thinking when we started New York, we were really not hiding the fact that we're from Amsterdam, but a bit more hesitant because we wanted to, be this American-based agency. But the more and more we talk about it with other people, with other brands, they really value the fact that we have this international global mind, and that sort of is also beneficial to all the campaign work we do in the US. So. We're not hiding anymore that we have Dutch roots. So.
Mm-hmm. No, and I think
it's maybe interesting because like Elliot actually worked with us in Amsterdam for a long time. And
one of the first phrases I learned was like "kijk in de koken," which is like a look in the kitchen, which is like giving the clients a little peek at what you're working on when it's still in the early stages. So that's maybe something that's maybe that's coming from Dutch culture, like wanting to make it like more collaborative and more casual. But for sure, like the whole asking for forgiveness rather than permission, I think that is something that's definitely part of the SuperHeroes DNA, is like a little bit irreverent, a little bit just doing it because it's a fun idea, and then like it'll prove itself in the end.
Yeah, for all the football/soccer fans out there, when I'm hearing this, I think Aaron Robin. That's who I think of. So it's like your agency is like getting the hard work done, but always finishing. So yeah, and with a great left foot, by the way. Aaron Robin was the greatest, one of the great left foots in the history of football. Let's talk about being independent a little bit. Why do you love being an indie, and why is that important to your team?
Yeah, I think it's important because it allows us to have this culture of innovation. I mean, we're not bound. We have the liberty to take on our own projects, dig into like recent things that are happening in culture, things like AI, digital street art. That sort of gives us the opportunity to explore a bit more than just do your client work. And as Rogier also mentioned, that's also benefiting at the end again our client work. So having that more freedom to test and learn and have fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's clear, obviously, you can see an agency's work, and I'm not just talking about you, I'm talking about any agency. You can really see some of the fruits of the great creative thinking, some of the great strategic thinking, some of the great execution and craft. But I'm curious about what brands should know about working with you. What's a main reason? What is the main reason that a brand should work with you, in your opinion?
Well, first of all, they need to join us in our mission to save the world from boring advertising. So if they need to be willing to take a bit of a risk, to go on this journey with us. We really like to collaborate with the people, with our clients, and not just sitting in your own little room, come up with an idea and then tell a client that this is the idea they should go for. So we really like to collaborate. And what we always get back is that a lot of our brand partners, they really like how we, our tight-knit team, and we're also really close. So we can always find solutions. We're very passionate about the project. We really want to go to great length to make them look good.
Right. Elliot, I'm curious from your vantage point, having been in Amsterdam and now back in the United States. What's your take on that?
Specifically, my take on why brands would want to come to SuperHeroes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, working in the Amsterdam office, it was so different than coming from the States. I was working in Chicago and in Minneapolis, and instantly it's so many different cultures crammed into one big room. Very open, creative environment, not lots of little silos and people isolated. Way more collaborative, lots of ideas coming from lots of cultures, lots of perspectives. And I think that's something that gets baked into all the creative that we make.
And that's huge, just, because number one, it's better creative. Number two, it's the correct thing to do and the right thing to do. Let's be honest. And brands struggle with that. There are brands that struggle with that. They can look at things monolithically, but it sounds like that a brand certainly can benefit, and we've covered this about the background of all of you and Amsterdam and all of that, but it's such a critically important component to creating things that are real. And we got a little snippet of of the Catalina Crunch. We got a little snippet of that. That was fun, but also real. And it's just this little bit of taking people out of the crunch of life. And I just use Catalina Crunch, and I use the word crunch. Go figure. But there's a brightness to it. You know what I mean? Because everything can feel so dark and squished. And so I'm curious about how a brand can benefit from that lightness.
Yeah, I think what we try to do is we really try to put creativity at the core, and encourage. And we actually have, we have developed our own brand model. We call it the Living Brand, and consists of a number of elements. We have, of course, a great story to share. And we really look at the whole experience. So is that brand tone of voice coming back in all of the different means of the brand and different touch points. And then we also have a very important element that's called energy. And energy is what we really like to generate around the brand and plan for. So every couple of months, make sure that we make headlines. We do stuff that stands out to existing customers or to new audiences, and just making sure that also people that work with the brand, that they're actually proud of working there, that there is this sense of pride, hey, we're making a difference. We're not one of many, but we're actually leading the way. And that's what we try to establish with our clients.
Yeah, makes total sense. Let's talk a little bit about talent. Why should talent put your agency on their list? And there's a lot of good talent out there right now.
Yeah, there sure is a lot of great talent, and it's really great to have them over in our office and talk to them and actually hear about, okay, why did you apply? And a lot of course, everybody wants to be a superhero, right? So you get superpowers and you get this spandex, and that's a lot of fun. But I think a lot of talent likes the fact that we're a small team. We work in small teams, meaning that you get a lot of responsibility, but also a lot of freedom. So you can really work from briefing to the end product. Yes, and we get fun briefings in, so people get to work on global global or US or European clients that always have like an edge to it. And we have a focus on digital natives, so Gen Z and young millennials, as we call them. So it's also a really interesting demographic to work for. So a lot of brands come to us because they lost that connection to that younger audience and ask us to bring back the energy to the brand. So those are fun briefs for talent to work on, I think.
Yeah, I love that. I still love the energy thing. Elliot.
Yeah, I was going to say I'd like to build on that because I think the vibe of an agency is, it has such an impact on like how you develop as a creative talent. Like if you were going to a big agency, you're maybe getting like stuck on like one type of client, making one type of execution over and over and over, assembly line style. Like that is not at all the vibe of SuperHeroes. SuperHeroes is like tons of different clients, tons of different executions, always looking for different creative territories to explore. And, the creatives that work here stay here because they get opportunities to execute lots of different types of work. They get to go on shoots. They get to work. Rogier is the ECD. Like it's not uncommon to just have like a brainstorming session with Rogier for 2 hours. Like interns welcome. It's not this kind of like off limits hierarchy where no, interns only working together and then you only report to this person. It's way more like a flat way of working.
Yeah. Flat is good. Let's do a little thought experiment question. And this could be a client you already have or a brand maybe you want to work with. Which CMO or marketer would you like to say hello to?
Yeah. Well, I think we have to acknowledge one of our. I think we also have to acknowledge a great client of ours that we're already working for, which is Lenovo. And maybe Rogier and Elliot, you can talk a little bit about what we've done with them for street art, and then we can talk. Then we can reveal which CMOs we want to talk to, actually.
So we already have a great list of clients that we work with, and these clients actually enable us. We're really doing that, not boring advertising together. So Lenovo is one, DoorDash and Vita Coco, and we're doing really innovative stuff as well. So with Lenovo, we just did a digital street art project with which we are really modernizing street art and bringing it in today's day and age. So that's super cool. And but yeah, if you ask me like what brands would you like to work with or what CMO, so I'm personally like a super big fan of what Liquid Death is doing. Like when you talk about creating energy around the brand and not being boring, like they are doing like the best possible job at this moment. And in the past, I always super liked Skittles and maybe like what is really nice. So we have just started like a side project. It's a fun little one, but we called it one of 70. So if you look at the Super Bowl, there's 70 Super Bowl commercials, and like we're looking around us, like thinking, okay, like we should be one of those. We should be one of the agencies making one of those Super Bowl commercials because our work is up there, and we've got the tone of voice. We've got the ambition. We can make it happen.
I like it. Yeah.
So that's so any Super Bowl guy, if you want to favor up a guy or girl on CMO, whatever, who you are. Sorry. So
I know. I see Elliot smiling. That's code for that. I think that's code for he's done a Super Bowl ad before. Have you, Elliot?
No. But this is just I'm sharing Rogier's enthusiasm for this, and it's like one of 70. Come on, like. We're just asking for a little slice of the pie, not the whole thing.
Well, it's quite a pie. Having covered many Super Bowl ads over the years, it is quite a pie. But yeah, I like that ambition. I like that a lot. Well, thank you all for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Just for the record, the best pancake in Amsterdam is at Lunchroom downtown. So when you are going into Amsterdam, please visit Lunchroom downtown. You can go ahead and search that up. But to all of you, thank you so much for joining us and appreciate you taking the time, and best wishes for continued success.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Doug.
Really appreciate it.